If you have an American Bully or if you have a Pit Bull or anything in the bull breeds, I'm sure you heard about the ban that is happening in the UK. Today I want to dig a little bit deeper on what this actually means for the people in the UK, how to, maneuver their way around. And I know we're in America, but this could definitely affect us too in the long run. So this is how to prevent that happening to us as well. If you're new to the channel, we're all about the bull breeds, killing the bad stereotypes and becoming better owners. Now I know it's December when I shoot this. Happy holidays, and I hope you're having a good time. But today we're talking about the UK, how they banned the XL American Bully, what's their thought process on why they banned this dog and this breed, and what it can actually mean for the people that are in the UK. Now right now I'm gonna go over a little bit of the facts that are happening in the UK, just in case if you're not well aware of what's happening. Here are the details. So beginning December 31st, the XL American Bully has confirmed that it will be added to the list of dogs that are banned. Rules coming into force at the end of the year will make it illegal to breed, sell, advertise, exchange, gift, rehome, abandon, or allow straight XL American Bullies in England and in Wales. From December 31st, XL Bullies dogs must be kept on a lead and muzzled in public. Owners who wish to keep their dogs will have until the end of January to register. From February 1st, it will become illegal to own an XL American Bully if it's not registered on the index of exempted dogs, and the animals will be subject to restrictions, including having to be microchipped and neutered. Owners who fail to comply could face a criminal record and an unlimited fine, and their dog could be seized. A secretary named Teresa Coffey, pardon me if I said that wrong, we are taking quick and decisive action to protect the public from the tragic dog attacks, and today I have added the XL Bully type to the list of dogs prohibited under the Dangerous Dogs Acts. We will continue to work closely with the police, canine and veterinary experts, and animal welfare groups as we take forward these important measures. A spokesperson said there is clearly no understanding of how many tens of thousands of dogs could fall within this breed specification, and we urge the government to ensure that the teams responsible for enforcing this law, the police and local authorities, have the resources and training they need before the ban begins to avoid any more dogs than absolutely necessary from being caught up in this. And the reason why I want to bring up this quote that I just said just now is the whole, my whole belief behind this ban, which is a lot of dogs that are in this, they say XL Bully type breed will be mistaken as an American Bully, and these dogs will be banned, seized, taken from their owners, especially if they're not registered. Now here's the whole thing about the XL Bully, or just American Bullies in general. Now if you look up the actual what makes up an American Bully, people will say it's a Pit Bull, an Amstaff. Some people say they have Cane Corso in them. There's a whole list of breeds that go into it nowadays, and sometimes in the UK too, we're kind of similar when it comes to the American Bully. Some of them will be put in like a Frenchie bred into a Bully or a Pit Bull to try to make it short and exotic, how they do all those micro puppies that I don't get. But that's not the point of this video. What I'm trying to say is a lot of the dogs that are supposedly, American Bully would get mistaken for American Bully when they're actually not. And this could mean that dogs could be euthanized, dogs could be seized from their owner, just wrongfully assume that they're American Bully. And this is a big umbrella of breeds that the UK fails to realize. A lot of dogs are going to be affected by this, not just the American Bully. And another thing that I want to touch up on is that the American Bully often gets mistaken for other breeds. They say they have 70% of dog attacks since 2020 has been from American Bullies. Now, when I think of this number, it kind of resembles America. A lot of American websites that tally these dog attacks, they're ones that are fatal. They say that it is the Pit Bull breed. But what they fail to realize is a lot of the dogs that they assume is a Pit Bull is actually not a Pit Bull. And that's where I think it bothers me the most about banning dogs, or assuming a dog is a Pit Bull, and in this case assuming a dog is an American Bully, which I know they're going to get right, because I could have a simple conversation with someone about dogs, and I'm not saying everybody's illiterate or ignorant to the fact of what an American Bully is, but a lot of people are going to mistake what a Pit Bull is and what an American Bully is. It's just this unfortunate thing that's happened with the bull breeds. A lot of them are just under this umbrella of a type of dog. When you actually look at the details about this article, the ban that the UK has put, it says they have added the XL bully type. It's a bully type. What does that mean? That means any type of dog that they probably assume, and it could be just a regular officer that's trying to enforce his job, or local authorities in the UK, they're going to assume the type of dog you got. XL bully type. All right. And they're saying XL. That's another thing, which is the bigger type of bullies. You know, there's different types of classes. If you haven't heard about that, I'll put a link in the description on the different types of classes of bullies. But they're saying specifically the XL bully. Now, I bet you my bottom dollar that they're going to start putting this towards all the bullies, all the American bullies, not just the XL bullies. So that's the one thing that I think about, is just like they're going to enforce this on all the American bullies. And unfortunately, it's going to spread out to pit bulls, Amstaffs. All these dogs are just going to be put under this umbrella of dogs that are going to be seized. The owners are going to be challenged to see if they're registered. They have to be muzzled in public, and they have to be on a lead. And it also says here, an official definition published by the government said the dogs had a very large head and broad build, a blocky and slightly squared muzzle. The breed was also described as being heavily muscled with a large blocky body, giving the impression of great power for size, and a glossy, smooth, and close coat. Now, if you were to shut your eyes, right, and I would describe that dog to you, of course you think of the American Bully, but there's other dogs that I think of. The Cane Corso, the Doggo Argentino, Staffies, Amstaffs. They could be built dogs with block heads and squared muzzles as well. So that's the reason why I'm just thinking this whole thing about they have to register their dog before January or the end of January, or their dogs will be seized, they'll be questioned, they could serve jail time, and they'll have an unlimited fine, which is ridiculous. So my prediction for this means that a lot of dogs will be wrongfully seized, a lot of them will be put down, and a lot of owners are going to be devastated because of this law that they're trying to push in the UK. Now, my heart is with these people. It's very unfortunate, and I hate to say it this way, but I do not want that to happen here. Obviously, I have an American Bully. A lot of people have American Bullies. It's just very unfortunate. And one way that you could just assure that we're all doing our part and this doesn't happen to America is we all keep our dogs trained and heavily socialized and well-trained obedience. And this isn't just towards America. I'm sorry if you're from the UK and you're hearing this and I'm talking about America, like how to prevent it, but that's what we could do. And in the UK, you could also do that as well. If law enforcement or the police officers, you get a police officer called on you by a neighbor or something, you could just show them this dog is well trained, has great obedience. It is not a threat to society or the public. And that is your best fighting chance to make sure your dog doesn't get taken away. That's what I could think of. It's unfortunate. Follow the rules, like the muzzle, the lead. I know it's ridiculous, especially if your dog is not aggressive. But if it was me, and I hate to say it this way again, I would definitely follow those rules, because you are not taking my dog, because I know they're going to enforce this heavily in the UK. Just follow those two simple rules and keep your dog. Your dog has to be registered, and just make sure they have the best training possible and they're on their best well behavior. And it's sad because other dog breeds don't have this kind of strictness that is implied on them due to how, you know, what kind of breed they are. Like, if you do a golden retriever, there's never going to be a ban on golden retrievers. I put that on my last dollar. I could bet my whole house on it. There will never be a ban on golden retrievers, on poodles, on other breeds that like Chihuahuas. You know, there will never be another ban on these kind of dogs. I guarantee it. So these dogs that we got, heavy, muscular, very smart dogs. It's just unfortunate they're kind of being targeted right now. So I feel for you guys in the UK. I do want to talk about what they're seeing in the UK, why the government over there is actually banning the dogs, because I did go through a lot of horror stories about, you know, fatal attacks on people, on kids. It's very unfortunate. I had a hard time going through it, but there's a lot of deaths that are just negligence from the owner. If you own a dog or two dogs, you're going to know your dog after the first 6 months to a year. You're going to know what kind of dog you have. You're probably going to see if it has any aggression issues. You're going to be able to tell if it's a hybrid dog, a lazy dog, if it's a dog that's skittish, so on and so forth. Now, a lot of these owners are just not being smart about how they're owning these dogs. You know what I mean? First of all, I want to say that some of the dogs they stated is a lot of mixes, okay? A lot of them would say it's a larger breed type dog and they classified it as the American Bully. But there are stories like this 55-year-old woman, 2 dogs escaped their backyard and they went into her yard and they attacked her. To be honest, that sounds like dogs that probably needed the training desperately. So I'm not dismissing the fact that some dogs are just aggressive. There is another dog that just attacked a baby. Some very unfortunate. I hate to bring it up. Attacked a baby and the baby lost its life due to the negligence, I think, of the owner. You know, the dog is going to have faults. Some dogs are going to have faults. I want to rephrase that. Some dogs are going to have faults and you can't be negligent about what kind of dog you got. Let's say, for instance, when my dog was a puppy up into a years old, I had to be very careful of him not bulldozing my kids over because I knew that he was just a very hyper dog. He still is. But I just knew that I needed to get that trained out of him to stop bolting through the doors, just hitting them with the tail really hard. So I knew what kind of dog I had, and I made sure that my kids were very careful around him when he was very young. Make sure they're not in his way, but I also had to really train my dog not to bolt through the doors, like I said, not to rush at people. Even if you get excited, you can't go and rush them and jump on them. You could definitely hurt a kid. You could hurt my grandma and so on and so forth. A lot of these stories is just negligent owners that did not give their dog the proper training they need. And I know that sounds so cliche, but their dog definitely needed the training and they just couldn't see it. So that's another thing that you could do as a dog owner if you're watching this video. Make sure that your dog is trained and you know your dog inside and out. Now, a lot of these stories are like, one's very unfortunate, a man that has special needs and he started having medical problems. This is what they believed, and then the dog started attacking him while he was having the medical problems. What that sounds like to me is that dog was never socialized to the man that had special needs and was dealing with these medical problems, and the dog just flipped out on him. The dog wasn't a puppy. The dog was big enough to attack him and leave him with fatal wounds. But you got to know that as the owner, right? First of all, if you're dealing with someone with special needs and the dog is probably too much for him, you probably shouldn't have the dog in the first place, to be honest with you. I know you could probably be a dog lover and all that, but if you decide to have the dog, then you need to make sure that that dog is well trained to the max. Especially dealing with special needs people, you need to make sure the dog is not bombarding them. You know what I mean? And you need to make sure it's tip-top training in order to be around that dog, or that person, excuse me. But another thing that baffles me is like, this person had emergency going on and the dog somehow just pounced on him or whatever and attacked him. That just means the dog did not know what to do in that situation. And it just bothers me because the owner is supposed to know that, you know what I mean? And it's just hard to hear the story. But the UK is saying there is a rise of attacks with the American Bully, and they've seen it rise since 2020. I do not live in the UK. I can't speak on how the UK is. If someone is from the UK, you could comment down below and let me know your thoughts on it and how it actually is, the environment, you know, the public. I know you can't explore the whole UK and give a whole analysis on it, but it just baffles me. Why are these attacks all of a sudden going up since 2020? You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense to me. Are they mistakenly saying that these are American Bullies when they're not? It's probably a different dog. It's such a gray area and it's being implied on the UK. And I feel for these people because imagine you have the best dog in the world and they're all of a sudden telling you, hey, your dog is now illegal. You cannot own this dog. And this does affect the owner, as you know, the relationship with their dog. It's probably a dog they've been with all their life. Another thing is living problems. Like if it's banned now, I'm sure the apartments are going to follow suit. If you live in townhomes or HOAs, I'm not sure what's going on in the UK, if that's a thing, but I know that this could affect them. They could probably follow suit as well. That means a lot of people are going to have to give up their dogs just to live there. A lot of people are going to have to move. It's just crazy, man. I feel for the people in the UK. I'm going to pray for you guys. Make sure that, you know, it's a smooth process. Nothing bad happens. And if they're going to imply this, then it needs to have some kind of positive result, right? So they need to crack down on their law enforcement training, making sure their law enforcement knows what an American Bully is, an XL American Bully. Don't just say an XL American Bully type, because that leaves the door open to many more breeds. So you need to make sure that's dialed in. Make sure you do your part, you have training, and they need to actually provide this kind of tools for the people. Some people, they're gonna need help getting bull or muzzles and leads. I know it's cliche, you need to have money for your dog at all times, but still, some people might struggle with this. They have to train their dog to actually wear a muzzle too. A lot of dogs have problems with wearing the muzzles, and that's going to be a whole thing that they need to help provide too. Are they going to help people with training? I can make some videos here all day long, but they need to have in-person training, you know, or provide some kind of resource for people to get the training for their dog, because a lot of dogs won't even let you put the muzzle on them, you know, and that's a battle in itself. And it's not saying that the dog is aggressive. Imagine you don't have something on your face all your life and then just throw it on you one day, just throw it on you. It's strapped up behind your head and all that. So, I mean, it's intense, but something to think about. I believe every dog should have a lead. I don't see a big problem with that, or a leash, I should say. But a lot of dogs are going to need to have that leash training dialed in. Imagine you're walking the park with your American Bully and a police officer sees your dog pulling on the leash. They're going to think, aggressive dog. We're going to check you, make sure the dog is registered. They'll probably check you already, but if you know, they're being cool about it, but then they see your dog pulling, now you have to get checked if it's registered, microchipped, and all of that. It's just a hassle, man. It's a hassle. I feel for you guys. Comment down below if you're from the UK, how this affects you. What do you think is going to go on? What's the plan? I really want to hear your guys' story. If you're not from the UK, tell me your thoughts on it. I know we have chances to enlighten our dog, making sure they're trained, properly socialized, but I also want to hear your guys' opinion as well. Let me know what you guys think, and it's unfortunate. So these are my thoughts on the American Bully ban in the UK, and I will see you guys on the next video. I am out.